On Tuesday, September 3rd, 2 days ago, Infowars.com put out an emergency news release because a high-level source at an Air Force base in West Texas, where the B-1B bombers are located, told us that secret mothballed nuclear weapons that weren't even supposed to be on the base were brought out of mothballs and loaded on trucks. And the police said, where are these going? Nobody's signing for it. The base commander simply gave orders. Everybody knew that this was completely irregular, and that there had been a big controversy a few years before when this happened in Minot, North Dakota with cruise missiles, and so they were asking questions. The truck drivers said, all we're told is this is going to South Carolina, and we don't know where it goes from there. Now, Anting and I went on to speculate about this being used for a false flag, not just a strike in the Middle East or on Russia, and that missing warheads could be used to basically hold the East Coast hostage, or could be blamed on a foreign enemy, or could be used for a coup d'etat. And now, ladies and gentlemen, news tips came in today pointing out that Lindsey Graham, the senator from South Carolina, that day gave speeches saying that South Carolina and their ports were targets of terrorists and that they would probably be hit by atomic or hydrogen bombs if we didn't immediately invade Syria. Incredible, ladies and gentlemen. This is how you take down a free country. Is you have criminal elements within it that hold the nation hostage to terror, that build a police state grid in the name of fighting terror, and then hold that threat over the public if they don't give in to your demands. Just like they got caught staging a false flag with the chemical weapons in Syria, now they're desperate. And now we know that they're actively fear-mongering against the population on the East Coast. And on top of that, there's a giant FEMA drill that starts next week that runs for more than a month, simulating terrorist attacks on the infrastructure and the power grid. They're going to have riot police out on the street. They're going to have checkpoints. They're going to have drills at nuclear power plants. All of this going on the East Coast while this highly irregular disappearance of warheads has happened.
Got to stop it there, guys. Can you believe it? It could be a coincidence, right? It could be. It could be just a coincidence. But I know in my heart that these powers that be want to reduce numbers of us. We're redundant. Technological advancements have pushed labour-intensive industries now into very highly technologically advanced robotic industries. It's just surplus human beings with nothing better to do anymore. And the problem is we're in this monetary system, and if we don't get labour, we cannot participate because we just can't get our hands on money anymore. They are ruthless. They will cause false flag events in order to secure their lifestyles. And I tell you, when I say they're ruthless, they do not care about us human beings. We are just a warehouse of stored, labour, and it's not needed anymore. And they're not changing anything for the better of humans on this planet. In fact, what I'm seeing is a complete destruction of everything on this planet. Fukushima still pumping out radiation into the Pacific Ocean, poisoning not just the biodiversity of the oceans, but it's ending up in our food chain. And the world stands by and watches it take place. And now we've got the psychopaths and the sociopaths and the bipolar disordered elitists planning and plotting to kill more human beings. To most of us, we won't realise that we're on the brink of destruction with this allowing of poisonings of the oceans. You know, fracking shale gas, poisoning fresh water supplies, allowing Monsanto to continue genetically modifying crops and destroying farmers' lives globally. The evils of this world probably will not come to many people's attention until it directly affects themselves. When perhaps one of us hears one of our family members has suddenly got leukemia because of radioactive poisoning of foods. This is all about money, and the monetary system is done. It was done when we became technological advanced and pushed labour out of the factories. If you look at any sophisticated manufacturing processes now, you'll see just how much we have automated our industries. Only one species on this planet does this sort of thing to itself, and that is human beings. Where will we go from here? Are we going to wait until these psychopaths poison the food, the water, and destroy this earth before anything is done about it? Is it the 1st of October FEMA start to prepare for grid failures? I'd say that might be a time when we've got to start watching, out for these things. They've got, in America, these stupid people in Constitution Hill and Barack Obama's team of psychopaths, right, who really do not care about people. They're not people's presidents and politicians, and it's not just over in America, it's completely over the West. I would not put it past them one bit, right? They say that Russia, and they've come up with all these foes and their enemies, and Russia, and they're in bed with them. This is a global problem. There's a surplus amount of humans on the planet, and it's a drain on any economy, and they need to keep the economy going in favour of their own lifestyles. Just about 4%, probably less than that, on this planet has held this planet in slavery for their own greedy rights, their perks. So long as they're on the top of the mountain feeding off everybody else, then it's a great day for them. I tell you what, I think we're on the brink of actually wiping ourselves out when people favour a handful of money as opposed to a glass full of fresh water. Then there's something seriously wrong with their reckoning in their minds. They're not thinking clearly. More pressure needs to be put on these companies. I tell you, we shouldn't be allowing fracking because it's a direct threat on something as precious as water. And then we need water, fresh drinking, clean water. You cannot put a price on the last glass of water on the earth when there is only one glassful. It will be priceless. We've got to start thinking now. I think we've got to start thinking now, guys. At the moment, this world's in a mess, and it isn't. And you know, is it any surprise when I talk about singularity and nature trying to sort something out?